this is Carla and welcome back to the studio and welcome to another episode of Step It Up Saturday. For this episode I'm going to feature the Tricks and Treats bundle. It's a stamp set and the coordinating set of dies. So for our first project I have a piece of pretty Peacock measuring 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. A piece of Blackberry Bliss measuring 5 1/4 by 4, and then I have 3 pieces of our glow-in-the-dark paper measuring 2 inches by 1 1/4, and then another piece of the glow-in-the-dark specialty paper measuring 1 3/4 by 1 inch. So I'm going to start off with folding and burnishing my card base. Like so. We'll put that aside. Now to start off, I'm going to take my piece of Blackberry Bliss and I am going to use the quatrefoil tile embossing folder. This is in our annual catalog. So this piece I will be embossing that, and then also for my glow-in-the-dark pieces I am going to die cut the boo, and then out of the three other pieces I am going to die cut the ghost. So I'm going to do that all right now, and I'm going to speed up this portion of the video. Be right back. Okay, so for this card, we're actually not going to be doing any stamping on this one. Now, for this embossed piece, I am going to be using Delicata Golden Glitz ink. Stampin' Up! Used to sell this a few years ago. It is since retired. In the description of this video under supplies, under the Stampin' Up! List of supplies, it does say retired. However, I did find this on Amazon, so I have linked to it below in that description. So I'm going to take my gold ink and I'm going to use a blending brush, and I don't need a lot, and I'm just going to do a light coating over the embossed area. What this is going to do is going to give it a little bit of a gold sheen on the raised areas of the cardstock. So it's just a subtle look. Get a little bit more. Let's see, a little bit more. Okay, do a little bit more. go. Okay, and then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to adhere this down to our card base. So I'm going to center that. I really like the color combination of Pretty Peacock and Blackberry Bliss. A few years ago we had a Halloween suite in our mini catalog, and I don't know if it was like Hollow's Night Magic or something like that, but the DSP actually had these colors in it, and it kind of reminds me of that. I really like that. It's actually two of my favorite colors right there, purple first and then the aqua second. So then for our glow-in-the-dark pieces, I am going to use my liquid glue, and I'm going to glue this down. I'm using a fine tip glue bottle. I got this on Amazon. I have linked that in the description as well. Inside of this, I have the Tombow multi-purpose glue. This is the glue that's Stampin' Up! Sells. I really like this glue. It's got a latex in it, so it sticks a lot better than the Elmer's white glue. So I'm just going to hold that down for a little bit just so it sticks. And let me go and bring in my dimensionals. And we're going to put some on the back of our ghosts. It's hard to see the glow in the dark with the amount of light, and I tried to show the glow in the dark when I did my video last Saturday with the Bag of Bones set, and it didn't work very well. So in the video description video, I will actually have a little image of the cards that we're doing that'll have the glow in the dark elements to it. So I'll go ahead and close up my glue. And then I'm going to randomly add my ghosts. So I'll kind of put one up here. I'll put another one right there. I'll add him right there. That's some of the little tiny paper bits from die cutting on it. And then I'm going to use our iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. These are in our annual catalog. And I'm going to add a few of these large ones onto my card. What's nice about these, you can see through them, so they kind of take on the color of the paper behind them. And then another one up there. Okay, so this is our first card. This is our more simpler card. So now on to our second. Okay, so for our next card, I have a piece of basic gray measuring 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. A piece of basic black measuring 5 1/4 by 4. A piece of lemon lime twist measuring 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I have a 3 by 2 inch piece of basic white. I have 3 pieces of pumpkin pie cardstock measuring 2 1/4 by 1/2 inches. I have 3 pieces of Daffodil Delight measuring 1 1/2 by 1 inch. And then I have 3 pieces of basic white, just a 1 inch square, and there's 3 of those. So to start off, I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. Okay. And we'll set that aside. Now for my for this piece here, I'm going to emboss that using the crosshatch design from the Basics 3D embossing folders. This is an online exclusive, and you can find it in the online store. So this I'll be embossing. For all my cards, what I do is I take care of doing all the embossing, die cutting, anything that's tedious, and kind of do it at the same time so it doesn't extend the video extremely long. After I do the die cutting, I will also be using this jack-o'-lantern face out of the Pick of the Patch stamp set, and this can be found in our current mini catalog. So we'll set this aside because we're going to adhere that piece on there. And let's see, we can stamp on this one. These, we're going to die cut these, and then we'll stamp the face on it. So we're going to actually be building a few candy corns. So we'll put that aside there. And then for this, I'm going to bring in my Memento Black, Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to use the stamp that says Trick or Treat. I'm going to ink this up really well. And I'm going to stamp this in the middle. And just hold that there for a second so that way the ink transfers well to the cardstock. We'll close that up. Okay. Let this dry just a little bit because we're going to then stamp over it with our stars, and we're going to use Daffodil Delight ink. And then for these, I'm just going to randomly stamp this over the greeting. Just making sure that I don't have no black ink transferring onto the stamp, so I end up putting in my yellow ink. That wouldn't be good. And we'll put another one here. And we'll come down here. Some of these will be cut off with the die, so I'm just going to kind of fill it in. Okay, put another one there. Okay. So let's go ahead and close this up. And we'll be die cutting that with this die right here. So I will be right back. to take my lemon lime twist, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my layer of basic black. It'll be just a really small border around it, like so. Press that down. And then I'm going to bring in our black and white gingham ribbon. And I'm going to go ahead and tie this into a knot. We'll see how well I can do, considering now we're recording. I'm pretty good at them, but for some reason you hit record and then nothing wants to work right. Actually, for this, a little trick that I saw another demo do, Julie DiMatteo. She used a pair of reverse tweezers and she just holds that spot, so then that way you have a free hand to then go ahead and tie it into a knot. Just kind of twist this so it'll lay flat. And then just remove those and go ahead and tighten it. I'm going to slide this over down a little bit to about there. Then I'm going to trim. And our other piece. See, I'll trim it like about there. Okay, and then for our greeting, I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. Now the sample one that I made, I just put one layer of dimensionals on here. And because of the knot, it kind of bowed it out a bit in the middle. So I am actually going to put a double layer of dimensionals on the back of this. Bring in another layer. I'm just going to put that right over the other ones. And this way it'll lay flatter than the other one. Okay. Actually, before I put that on, let's go ahead and adhere this to our card base. Make sure that this is straight. We'll just center that. Press that down. And then we'll take our greeting and we'll just put it right over the knot. Okay, that lays much better now. Okay, so for our candy corns, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these together. And for this part, I will actually go ahead and speed it up. Be right back. So for my 3 candy corns, I am going to bring in my Memento Black and the little jack-o'-lantern face. Get that nice and inked up. And I'm just going to stamp that in the middle of each of the candy corns. They're really cute. So cute. There's always this heated debate around every Halloween. Are you one that loves candy corn or do you hate it? Well, I like it, but yeah, you can't eat too many of those. And we'll stamp our last one. Okay. Close that up. I'll go ahead and I'll put dimensionals on the back of these. Let's bring in our card. And go ahead and we're going to add, just going to scatter them on the card. Now I'm not going to press them down hard because if I have to move them, okay. Let's see. Okay, press those down, and then I will bring in my iridescent rhinestones, and then I'll add 3 on to here. Okay, so that is our second card. Now on to our third project. Okay, so for my final project, we are going to make a 3-dimensional item. This is just a sample of what I made. It's a box or a bag. You can put treats in it. And so I'm going to be referring to this as I go, but that's what we're going to make. So I have 2 pieces of basic black cardstock measuring 5 1/4 by 4 3/4. I have a piece of Smoky Slate 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. A piece of lemon lime twist 2 1/2 by 2 1/4. A piece of Highland heather 2 5/8 by 2. A piece of pumpkin pie measuring 2 by 1 1/4. And then I have a little piece measuring 1 1/2 by 1 of the glow-in-the-dark specialty paper. So for this project, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of speeding up in sections. I need to go ahead and cut out for our bag. So for our bag, we have this die here, so I'll be cutting that out twice. And then there's this zigzag trim that after I cut those pieces out, that'll be on the top. And then there's another piece that will create the holes to add the ribbon handles. And then all these other pieces that I have here will be elements that we'll cut out, but that'll be after I do some stamping and heat embossing as well. So let's see, what can we start off with? So we'll put this aside because this is going to be die cut. And then for our other pieces, these are going to be stamped on. And then we're going to heat emboss with those. And then this is going to be die cut. And then this will be our glow in the dark. Now I'm going to be using my embossing accessory kit, I think it's called. It's in our annual catalog. And I will be using Versamark ink along with my black embossing powder. So before I start, I'm going to take my embossing buddy and I'm going to add some powder to my pieces. Now when I created the project, the sample project, I thought, let me try stamping on the glow-in-the-dark paper. So I used my embossing buddy on it, but even though I used it, some of the pieces of powder actually still stuck. So I thought that was actually kind of a neat effect for this. So I'm gonna add powder to it, but if there's any granules that stick to it, that'll be fine. So I'm gonna, and after I added that black embossing powder and heated and all that, this piece still glowed in the dark. So that was cool. So I'm just going to add some powder on here. This will get rid of any oils that may have transferred from my fingers, and also any static that may be on the cardstock, so we don't have any powder that sticks where we don't want it. Powder it up really good. Okay, I'm going to leave that in here. I'll take that out. And then we got to the side. And we'll stick this over here. Okay, so I am going to, on my Highland heather, I'm going to stamp the Dracula face. Now this is 2 separate stamps, but I went ahead and I put them on there at the same time. So I'll ink this up really good. And I'll stamp it right in the middle. And just hold it there for a little bit so the ink transfers. Okay. And then on our lemon lime twist, I will do the Frankenstein. Or Frankie. I don't know, when I saw the image for the Dracula, I don't know, I just thought of Eddie Munster for some reason when I saw that. So we'll ink this, and we'll add that right here. Okay, and then on my Smoky slate, we'll do this haunted house. And get up really well. We'll stamp that right there. Okay, and then for our glow-in-the-dark piece, we're going to stamp Eek. And kind of come over here. Okay. So we're done with our stamping. I'll bring in my embossing powder. We'll tap off any excess. Okay. And some little bits. We'll just use our brush to brush some of that off. So next week on Tuesday, it will be October 31st. It'll be Halloween. And I will have another pre-recorded video for you. And I will be using a few of the stamp sets that are from past paper pumpkin kits that were Halloween themed. And then that will actually be it on Halloween projects until next year. I think we'll go on to fall projects, and then as we get closer to the end of November, it'll then be Christmas projects. Just make sure that it's covering really well. Okay. And we'll bring in our glow-in-the-dark piece. I think it's the texture of the paper itself, that even though I use the embossing buddy on it, it still has a couple little pieces on it. Not as much as the other one that I did. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this up. Put this aside. Okay, so for my next part, I am going to speed this up. Looks like it's clumped. No, it's okay. So I'm going to speed this part up. I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss all these pieces, and then I will go ahead and I'll die cut these and the bag and the other pieces out all at the same time. So I'll see you in a bit, and enjoy the music. me bring in our pieces. And I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to fold. Make sure that's lined up. And then burnish that. Fold the flaps. Burnish that. That's straight. That's straight. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my tearing tape, and I am going to add some to this narrow tab on the end. Go ahead and add some here. And this is a little tip that I saw to get a nice straight cut. This is a block that has kind of like a sharper edge rather than the rounded edges of our other acrylic blocks, and it's thinner. These typically come in the kits that are available online, so I like to use that to tear my tape. Let's press that down. Okay, and then I'm going to add, let me see, I want to do this to where I don't have adhesive. Okay, so we'll do it on the ends here. So I'm just trying to avoid having any adhesive showing on the inside of the box. And another little piece here. And then there's another piece I will add onto the bottom flap, but I will do that when I see which side is going to be the front. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the paper backings. And I'm going to adhere, line these up, make sure that I'm in the camera. I'll line these up to where they're straight. Okay. And I will come on this side and I'll go ahead and burnish that. Okay. And then I will fold this over and then come in. Looks like it's just folded a little off. See, you want it straight. Okay. Stick that down like so. Okay, so let's see. We'll have this as the front of our box. So we have these pieces here, and I'm going to add some tape right on this part right here. tear that. And we're done with the tape. So let's make sure that's pressed down good. Okay, so now I'll remove these paper backings. And this one right here. Okay, so we will fold our little flaps in first, and then we'll bring this one over, and then we'll come over with this one. Trying to keep the box straight. And then I'll use my bone folder and I'll just kind of press inside so that way the adhesive sticks really well. Okay, so there's our bag box. You can do this with designer series paper as well. Let's see, we're going to bring in our ribbon and we're going to create 2 handles. Now, I didn't do handles on the other one. I don't know. I just couldn't get it to, figure out right. So just before I came on to do this video, I kind of thought something out and hopefully it'll work out. The dies there's actually 2 different dies for creating the ribbon holes. This one is the smaller one. The other one does cut out bigger holes. So looks like that the smaller ones will work on this. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to just kind of fold my ribbon in half, and I'm going to go from the out to the inside of the box. Like so. And then I'm going to take these ends and I'm going to tie a knot. And hopefully my handle there'll be enough handle for this. Okay, so we got that. And this is probably going to give me a hard time. I don't think I gave myself enough ribbon to work with. Okay, so we got that. Pull on these. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll trim these. So trim this end a little bit. And do this without cutting my finger. Okay, and then a little handle will be like this. Okay, so then let's go ahead and do the other one. Okay. Okay, and we'll just trim our ends. Okay, so there's our handles. So now let's go ahead and attach all our pieces. So for the tags, okay, where's my little glow-in-the-dark geek? Okay, I'm back. Okay guys, I couldn't find that at all, and it turned out I threw it in my trash bin. I was going crazy looking for it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and assemble our bag. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of these, and then for my eek, I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back of this. And then I'm going to line these up. I'm just going to attach this on top of that one, like so. And then I'll go ahead and add, let me see, just add some adhesive to this. Okay, we'll set that aside. Okay, bring in our dimensionals. And add a few onto here. Add some Dracula. And then some on Frankie. And I'm bring in my smaller ones. And put one up at the top here. Okay. So let's see, what were we saying was the front of our box? Okay, so we'll go with this side. So on the front, we're going to add Frankie down at the bottom here. Then I'll put Eddie up here. Yeah, for some reason I looked at that and I thought, that's Eddie Munster. Okay, so we'll put that there. We'll go ahead and we'll press these down, like so. And then on the other side, we'll add our house. And then I'll bring in our little eek tag. We'll stick this kind of like in the middle, and then we'll tuck the eek right behind it, like so. And then we'll press these down as well. And then I'll bring in my iridescent rhinestones, and we'll add one here. And then for our other side, I will add one down here and a small one right up here. So put that aside. Okay, so we got our little handles. Now let me show you what'll fit in here. So there is a stash of candy. So with the Snickers fun size, you can add, I believe you can get 5 in here. You can get 4 there, and then 1 on the top. Okay. And then got some Reese's peanut butter pumpkins. These, you lay them on the side like that. You can get 5 of these in here as well, and 1 up on the top. So that's 5 of those in there. And then one of my favorites for the fall are the craft caramels. And you can fit quite a few. Let me move my handles. You can fit quite a few of these. I'm going to shake them up a little bit. And you can fit quite a few in there of those as well. So it's a really cute little gift bag or a little gift box to put some treats in. So let me bring in all of our projects. So our first simple, easy card, and actually let me do this. Let me remove my grid paper. So the first card we made was this fun Blackberry Bliss and pretty Peacock with the glow-in-the-dark ghosts, and then our candy corn one, and then our little treat box. So I thank you for joining me for this episode of Step It Up Saturday. So next Tuesday there will be another Halloween themed video, and like I said before, that will be geared around the retired stamp sets out of past paper pumpkin kits that were Halloween themed. And then that's the end of the videos for October 2023. Coming November 1st, I will be starting to post videos on the 1st regarding Christmas cards. So it's kind of part of my Christmas card club that I'm looking to do starting in January, February. But in the meantime, I will also do videos on the 1st of each month, and I will create 2 Christmas cards as inspiration for you. And then we'll be continuing on with our Throwback Thursdays and Step It Up Saturdays using fall themed products, and then probably about the middle of the month or so we'll start with the Christmas. So I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you like the projects, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That helps me in building my channel, and I totally appreciate it. So until then, see you later. Bye bye.